5 Lessons from Come As You Are, the surprising new science that will transform your sex life, by Emily Nagoski. Hey there, DeftU Insights viewers. Ever found yourself wondering, am I normal when it comes to sex? Or maybe you felt a quiet frustration, a sense that your body, your desires, or your experiences just don't quite line up with what you see in movies or hear from friends? If so, you're not alone. In fact, that question, am I normal, is one of the most common, most fundamental inquiries across the entire spectrum of human sexuality. For too long, the narrative around women's sexuality has been, well, a little broken. It's been filtered through outdated science, patriarchal assumptions, and media stereotypes that simply don't reflect the incredible diversity and complexity of real human experience. The truth is, your body and your desires are not a watered-down version of someone else's. They are magnificently, uniquely, and completely you. Today, we're diving into a powerful framework that doesn't just debunk myths, but hands you the keys to understanding your own sexual landscape. We're going to explore 5 profound lessons that will help you shed the shame, embrace your individuality, and cultivate a truly confident and joyful sex life. Because the secret, as you'll discover, isn't in changing who you are, but in realizing that you are normal. It is the world that is often broken. And once you realize that, you gain the power to fix your world, not yourself. Let's get started. Lesson 1. Rewriting your body story. Embrace your unique design. One of the most liberating truths about human sexuality is that there's no single normal blueprint for our bodies, especially when it comes to our genitals. Many of us have grown up with a sense of unease or even shame about our own anatomy, thanks to cultural messages that promote an incredibly narrow, often surgically altered ideal. But here's the powerful insight. All human genitals are constructed from the same fundamental components, simply organized in a myriad of individual configurations. Think of it like a universal set of building blocks that assemble into countless distinct yet equally valid structures. This means that whether your clitoris is large or small, whether your inner labia extend beyond the outer, or if your hymen is present or absent, all these variations are perfectly healthy, normal, and beautiful. For instance, the clitoris, that incredible epicenter of pleasure, is often perceived as just its tiny visible tip. But biologically, it's a much more extensive, predominantly internal structure, with legs and bulbs that reach deep into the pelvic tissue, extending its sensory network far beyond what you can see. Understanding this comprehensive anatomy can radically shift your perception, revealing a powerhouse of sensation designed solely for pleasure. To truly embrace this lesson, I encourage you to undertake a personal exploration. Take a mirror, use a little lubrication if it helps, and gently observe your own vulva. See it not through a lens of societal judgment, but with curiosity and self-kindness. Notice the colors, the folds, the unique way your parts are arranged. There's no right or wrong here. Imagine a garden filled with countless varieties of roses. Each rosebush, each flower, has petals, a stem, and leaves, but every single bloom is unique in its hue, size, and form. You wouldn't look at a beautifully unfurled rose and think it's abnormal just because it doesn't match the tightly budded one next to it. Similarly, trying to make your body conform to some photoshopped image of perfection is not only futile, but also deeply damaging to your inherent beauty. Your body is magnificent precisely as it is, a masterpiece of unique, healthy variation. By understanding this, you begin to rewrite your internal body story from one of potential flaw to one of inherent perfection. Hello, second. Tune your inner engine, mastering your sexual accelerator and brakes. Have you ever wondered why sometimes you feel an immediate spark of desire, and other times, with the same person or situation, nothing? The answer lies in a groundbreaking concept known as the dual control model of sexual response. Picture your sexual brain like a car, equipped with two incredibly powerful systems, a sexual accelerator and sexual brakes. Your sexual excitation system, SES, is your accelerator. It's constantly scanning your environment, internal and external, for anything it has learned to associate with sexual pleasure. A touch, a scent, a thought, a visual cue. When it detects these turn-ons, it sends signals to say, let's go. On the flip side, you have your sexual inhibition system, SIS, your brakes. This system is also perpetually scanning, but for potential threats or reasons not to be aroused. These can be obvious things, like fear of judgment or STIs, but also subtle cues, like stress, relationship tension, body image concerns, or feeling rushed. What's truly fascinating is that the sensitivity of your accelerator and brakes is unique to you, like your personal sexual personality. Some people have a highly sensitive accelerator and less sensitive brakes, making them easily aroused. Others might have very sensitive brakes, meaning even minor distractions can stop arousal in its tracks. Neither is better or worse, they're just different. Crucially, these systems aren't hardwired from birth. They learn what counts as a turn-on or turn-off through your experiences, your environment, and your cultural conditioning. Think of a finely tuned sports car. Some cars are designed to accelerate incredibly fast with light pressure, while others require more effort to get going, but are built for steady, long-distance driving. Neither car is broken, they just have different optimal operating conditions. You wouldn't blame your car for not speeding up if you're subconsciously riding the brakes. The lesson here is to identify your specific accelerators and your specific brakes. What genuinely lights you up? What consistently shuts you down, even subtly? By understanding and consciously tuning these systems, reducing the brakes, and actively engaging the accelerators, you can maximize your sexual potential and move beyond frustration to joyful exploration. Lesson 3. Beyond chemistry, how your environment shapes desire. You might deeply love your partner, find them incredibly attractive, and still, on some days, feel zero desire for sex. This isn't a sign that something is wrong with you or your relationship. It's a testament to the profound power of context. Our perception of any sensation, especially sexual ones, is profoundly shaped by our internal and external environment. It's not an inherent lust tank that empties. It's more like a nuanced operating system that requires the right conditions to run optimally. At the neurological core, this is governed by what we can call the emotional one ring in your brain, a hub that mediates all emotional and motivational responses. It orchestrates 3 key functions: enjoying, your immediate yes or no, expecting, linking cues to outcomes, and eagerness, the motivation to move towards or away from something. Crucially, the interplay of these functions is highly context-dependent. When your brain perceives safety, comfort, and well-being, it's primed to interpret cues as sexually appealing. Conversely, high stress or feeling unsafe can make virtually anything feel like a threat, shutting down sexual interest, regardless of how sexy the stimulus might be in a different setting. This explains why responsive desire is so common, especially for women. You might not feel a spontaneous urge, but once in a truly safe, engaging, and erotic context, your interest blossoms. It also highlights the concept of arousal non-concordance, where your body might show physical signs of arousal, like lubrication, even if your mind isn't subjectively turned on. Your genitals might be signaling this is sexually relevant, but your brain is the one asking, is this actually appealing right now? This means listening to your words and your partner's words is far more important than any immediate physical reaction. Imagine trying to enjoy a gourmet meal. The food itself might be exquisite, a truly desirable stimulus. But if you're trying to eat it in a noisy, chaotic environment, constantly checking your phone, feeling rushed, or arguing with your dining companions, the experience is ruined. However, put that same delicious meal in a calm, beautiful setting where you feel relaxed and connected, and you'll savor every bite. Your sexual environment is the same. It's about consciously cultivating contexts, internally and externally, that are low in stress, high in affection, and explicitly erotic. By setting the right scene, you create the fertile ground for desire to naturally unfold, allowing your brain's one ring to activate fully and joyfully. Lesson 4. Healing your heart, freeing your desire, taming stress, and building secure bonds. Our sexual lives are deeply interwoven with our emotional landscape, particularly the powerful forces of stress and love. These aren't just feelings, they're primal biological systems that profoundly dictate whether our bodies whisper, "I am safe and open," or cry out, "I am at risk and closed off." When we learn to interpret and respond to these ancient messages, we unlock a richer, more joyful sexual experience. First, let's talk about stress. While our ancestors battled lions, we now face demanding jobs, relationship worries, or financial pressures. Our bodies, however, often react with the same ancient fight, flight, or freeze response. The critical insight here is that stress doesn't just vanish, it requires a complete cycle to discharge. If we're constantly stuck in a state of high alert, with all that activated energy churning within, it acts as a powerful brake on our sexual interest and diminishes pleasure. For survivors of trauma, this freeze response can make once benign sensations feel like threats, completely shutting down desire. Learning to complete these stress cycles, whether through physical release, mindfulness, or simply allowing yourself to process emotions, is vital. Then there's attachment, that innate biological drive to bond with others. In adulthood, sex often becomes a powerful attachment behavior. However, if our attachment feels threatened or uncertain, sex can become solace sex, a desperate plea to repair a perceived bond, driven more by anxiety than genuine pleasure. Our individual attachment styles, secure, anxious, or avoidant, profoundly shape these experiences. Securely attached individuals generally have more satisfying sexual lives, while insecure styles can lead to anxiety-driven encounters or a disconnection between sex and intimacy. Imagine a delicate wildflower. It needs calm, consistent weather and deep, healthy soil to truly bloom. If there's a constant storm, undischarged stress, or the soil is rocky and unstable, insecure attachment, the flower might struggle to open, even if the sun peeks out for a moment. It's not that the flower is broken, but its environment isn't conducive to flourishing. The practical takeaway here is to tend to your emotional garden. Learn to discharge your stress, whether through movement, creative expression, or simply allowing yourself to feel uncomfortable emotions fully, understanding they have a beginning, middle, and end. And when it comes to relationships, acknowledge your feels, those sometimes sleepy hedgehog-like emotions. Name them, welcome them, take responsibility for them, and then communicate them calmly and non-blamingly to your partner. By cultivating secure emotional ground and completing your stress cycles, you create the fertile conditions where authentic sexual pleasure can naturally flourish. Lesson 5. Your true north. Shifting from sexual goals to genuine joy. We often absorb an unspoken sexual script from our culture, a set of rules and expectations about what sex should look like, what desire should feel like, and how our bodies should perform. These scripts, often rooted in outdated beliefs, can plant toxic weeds in our personal gardens of sexuality, leading to immense self-criticism, shame, and dissatisfaction. But here's the most transformative lesson. The ultimate measure of a fulfilling sexual life isn't about hitting specific performance goals. It's about how you feel about your own sexuality, authentically and without judgment. Our culture relentlessly pushes 3 damaging messages. 1. The moral message, suggesting your worth is tied to your sexual history or virginity, making you damaged goods if you enjoy sex. 2. The medical message, framing sex as inherently dangerous, a source of disease or unwanted pregnancy, and labeling any deviation from a rigid normal as a medical problem. 3. The media message, bombarding you with unrealistic ideals, making you feel perpetually inadequate, not wild enough, not adventurous enough, or simply not looking right. These messages feed powerful emotions like body self-criticism and sexual disgust, which slam the brakes on desire and pleasure. Body self-criticism is a universal epidemic, but it's a form of stress that makes us sicker and reduces pleasure, rather than motivating positive change. Sexual disgust, a learned withdrawal response to anything deemed gross, can make even our own bodies feel alien or shameful. To combat this, the goal isn't to force your sexuality into a cultural mold, but to cultivate positive meta-emotions, how you feel about your feelings and your experiences. This involves 3 shifts for your inner monitor. 1. Adjusting your expectations, recognizing that it's normal for desire to fluctuate or for pleasure to take time. 2. Changing the kind of effort. Instead of pushing harder, try non-judging your experiences, simply observing them with gentle curiosity. 3. Changing the goal itself. Stop chasing societal ideals like orgasm during intercourse and embrace what is true about you right now. Prioritize pleasure over performance. Imagine you're hiking a beautiful mountain trail. If your sole focus is rushing to the summit, you'll likely miss the breathtaking views along the way, the scent of the pines, the feeling of the sun on your skin. The journey becomes a stressful race. But if your goal is the experience of the hiking, every step, every sensation, every moment of enjoyment, then reaching the summit is just a fantastic bonus, not the sole measure of success. The most profound step is to let go of the map, the outdated cultural script, and welcome your sexuality as it is. This often involves grieving the phantom self you were told you should be. Allow those feelings to come, observe them without judgment, like a sad, shy kitten, and let them pass. When you fully embrace this is it, your body, your desires, your pleasure, exactly as they are, you create the ultimate sex-positive context, fostering curiosity, profound connection, and boundless joy. Conclusion. We've explored so much today, from the astounding uniqueness of your body's design to the intricate dance of your sexual accelerator and brakes, the profound power of context, and the healing influence of managing your emotions. We've seen how cultural myths can distort our understanding of normal, and how shifting from rigid goals to embracing genuine pleasure can be utterly transformative. But if there's one overarching truth to carry forward, it's this. The quality of your sex life, whether it's filled with distress or boundless joy, is ultimately determined not by how your sexuality functions, but by how you feel about its functioning. You see, the quest for a fulfilling sex life often feels like searching for some secret formula, some hidden trick that everyone else seems to know. Yet, like the legendary dragon scroll that revealed only a reflection to its seeker, the secret ingredient to a coherent, joyful sexual life isn't found in some elusive external source. It's simply you. Your body is magnificent. Your desires are flawless. You are normal. The science confirms it. Trust the subtle wisdom of your own body. Listen to those nuanced voices that whisper, yes, more, or no, stop. So I invite you to take these insights, reflect on them, and begin to cultivate your own sex-positive garden. And if this resonated with you, hit that like button, subscribe to DeftU Insights for more deep dives, and share this video with someone who needs to hear that they too are perfectly normal. Let's create a world where sexual autonomy and joy are universally celebrated, starting with you.